What's up, everybody? Richie Rax here. Now, I want to take a little break from doing research to just talk a little bit of strategy real quick. If you guys have been around fantasy for a while, you've probably heard some of these terms, but I want to talk about a floor and a ceiling of a fantasy player, and also about a couple of different strategies when you're playing 50-50 or head-to-head matchups versus deep tournaments. Okay? So the difference, first of all, between the tournaments would be in a 50-50, you only need to finish in the top 50%, and everybody gets paid the same. So it's a 1,000-man tournament. First place and 500th place still get paid the same amount. You might put 25 in because it's a 50-50 and it's a double up. So you're putting in 25 to win 50, right? Pretty simple, 50-50 tournament. In these deep tournaments, the prices are going to vary. First place is going to make substantially more than second place, third place, and all the way down to 5,000th place. If you're playing in a 25,000-man tournament. Now, the significance here and the strategy is in picking a team for each type of tournament, and that's where the floor and the ceiling comes into play. Now, a floor is what a player is most likely going to see as their minimum points per game. Somebody, let's say, averages 20 rushes per game and 5 receptions. They have a pretty high floor. They're touching the rock 25 times throughout this game. That's more opportunities to score. That's more opportunities for yards. The 5 receptions is 5 points straight off the top. So this player has a high floor. Now, a ceiling would be the max amount of players a player could score. Okay? So in a 50-50 tournament, it really serves your benefit to find a player that has a high floor and a high ceiling. Okay? Because you just need to finish in the top 50. You don't need to finish first place. You don't need to pick these players that have an extremely high ceiling but a low floor. That's kind of a boomer bust play. A good example of that type of player would be Travis Benjamin. Okay, well, actually, he's looking pretty consistent this year through 2 weeks. He's had 2 big games, and he really seems to have a better rapport with Johnny Manziel, though. We heard Josh McCown's going to be starting this week. So, Travis Benjamin, we know he performed well the first 2 weeks, but because we don't know how he's going to perform with McCown, to me, he has a very low floor. He only has had at most 4 targets in a game. He just had these huge games on extreme efficiency, going, catching the ball 4 times for 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a punt return. That's about as efficient of a game as you can have. But he's not getting a whole lot of targets. And although he might put up 35 points for you on the right day, there's always the chance that he's not going to put up anything at all, or at most 4 receptions. That's a boomer bust play. That's a player with a low floor and a high ceiling. All right? So that's what we're talking about. And that type of play is effective in, jumping ahead of a bunch of people in a deep tournament so you can make the most money possible. But in a 50-50 league where you just have to finish in the top 50, it's really smarter to get a player who has a high floor and a high ceiling, and finding a mix of players like that for their value. A player with a high floor and a high ceiling, Antonio Brown. All right, he's going to get targeted 10 or more times a game, and there's always a chance that he's going to score multiple touchdowns. High floor, high ceiling. Gronkowski, high floor, high ceiling. So those are the types of players I'm looking for. And then if I'm going to try and save myself some money, I'll try to find a number 1 option on a team or a number 2 option on a team who, is averaging 7 targets a game. Like a Doug Baldwin, who's going to cost you $4,000 this week. If he's going to catch the ball 7 times, we're talking about seven receptions, 7 points off top, plus 50 to 100 yards. We're talking about a 14-point floor. But he's probably not going to go off for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? Like a Julio Jones. But he is also $4,000. Okay, so this is the type of bargain play I'll look for in a 50-50 matchup where you just have to finish in the top 50%, and I'll look for a player who's got an extremely high ceiling that not a lot of other people are going to draft in a deep tournament that has thousands and thousands of players and maybe pays out the top 15%. All right, so that's the difference between 50-50 tournaments and those deep tournaments. If this helped you at all, guys, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'm about to do a little bit more research so you guys don't have to. Get these tight ends for week 3 together, and I'll be right back here, all right? Let's bring that money home, baby.